Hey, Mary, welcome back.
Hello,
So I
Lisa.
don't know how this is gonna be like. In the last episode, when we were recording, my video just decided to go to Slumberland,
Mm.
right? And we were looking at Ecclesiastes chapter 1, and you did read for me verses 1 to 5. If you don't mind, because I don't know how much of the other video I will discard, you are muted. So please, would you be able to read for me verse chapters again, chapter 1, verses 1 to 5, and then we'll start breaking it down. And I'll be asking you very hard questions. I hope you'll be able to answer them.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness, Lord help me.
Yes. Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 1,
Okay.
verses 1 to 5. Or wait, it ends in a good way. Yeah.
Okay. So
Mhm,
the author,
mhm,
that's verse 1.
mhm,
Solomon of Jerusalem, King David's son, the
mhm.
preacher. In my opinion, nothing is worthwhile. Everything is futile. For what does a man get for all his hard work? Generations come and go, but it makes no difference. The sun rises and sets and hurries around to rise again. The
Now,
wind blows.
is that verse, the wind blows is verse 6. Let's stop at 5 so that we can try to break it down a little bit, okay?
Okay.
And I want you to be genuine with it, yeah? So I want to see which side you go, whether you go to the side of Solomon or whether you go to the side of Mary or you go to the side of Esther or you go to the side of God. There are many sides to this one. Okay, let's start with verse number 2 because that's where the teaching starts. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. Mary, I give up on life. It's
Ah,
meaningless. What's the point of what we are doing right now if it's meaningless?
we're doing it for to spread the word of God,
So,
to
mhm,
understand his word better, for friendship is because we have that relationship. So it's not meaningless.
there we go.
We're
So,
communicating.
I teach on the spices of life, and you know that. Yeah. And when
Mm.
I say about the spices of life, I look at the spiritual, I look at the physical, I look at the intellect, I look at the commercial, I look at the emotions, and I look at the social relationships.
Mm.
When I look at all those five, 6 areas, and I'm thinking, this guy has said it's meaningless. Yes, everything is meaningless.
Mm.
Do you agree? You said you're not so sure whether you agree or not agree, but he's
I
the
don't
wisest guy.
agree.
Yeah.
I don't agree because my life is full of purpose.
Oh, there we go.
I'm
So
loving my life.
there we go. Yeah. So sometimes when I'm doing now the spices of life and I come across this and I'm thinking it's meaningless, meaningless. And I'm trying to say there is a purpose in all those areas and many more. So there is
Hmm.
meaning. And then I'm thinking, if there is no meaning, why are we here this afternoon? Like
Yeah.
you said, we are okay, building this relationship. We are trying to help someone else understand. We are trying to give a meaning to our life and a meaning to somebody else's life.
Hmm.
So I don't necessarily agree with
Hmm.
Solomon here, but do you think some people will be throwing stones at us? And why do you think they would throw stones at us?
Because maybe it depends on what season they are in their life.
Mhm,
Maybe they may be feeling that yes, actually,
mhm,
life is meaningless. We're just in a rat race or something. So they might think,
mhm,
okay, what are these people on about? Definitely, life is meaningless. But for me personally, I have
mhm.
a purpose. I'm trying to live in my purpose daily with God helping me.
Yeah,
So,
I try to let me think of the very basic thing. Yeah. Food, for
mm,
example.
mm.
Would you say food is meaningless?
No, it keeps me strong. I need food to survive.
Water, is it meaningless?
No, you'll die if you didn't have water, if you didn't drink water.
Now, I'm thinking just in the physical sense. Now, the spirit in you, Mary, is it meaningless?
No, because somebody is healed by my smile.
Yeah.
sometimes.
Now in Genesis, let me take you back there. Do you think it was meaningless?
We needed the earth to live in, and we need the heaven to be able to go to when we die.
Okay, one of the things why I'm doing this is because recently, for example, in Kenya, yeah, I'm originally from Kenya, there were some issues that have been going on, like people have joined, whether it's occult, yeah, occult to do with witchcraft, cult to do with brainwashing and all that. And sometimes, the meaning that people have been given, yeah,
Hmm.
it's even more than being meaningless. They've been given a meaning. Some of them were told to starve to death so that they can meet Jesus, and that's the meaning they were given. Now, to me, rather than being meaningless there, I think it's just being, how can I say it, ignorant, right? So it's
Mhm.
important for us to read these words and
Mm,
extend the understanding we have of God,
mm,
because this, by the way, Mary, did you know it's the favorite book of atheists?
mm.
Yeah, they read this book and they say everything is meaningless.
It's
Now let's move
meaningless.
on to verse 3. Okay, read verse 3 for me. And this time round, you can ask me questions if you want. I've been asking you deep questions. No,
It
yeah,
says, "For what does a man get for all his hard work? I get money."
there we go.
To be able
There
to
we
go on
go. Yeah,
holiday and
yeah,
afford the things that I like.
yes, yeah. I think this guy, like you said, it depends on the season of life maybe he was going through, or rather just the summing up. Yeah, he gave up on life.
Mm,
At the very beginning, again, I take you back to Genesis. Yeah, we were given the mandate to labor. Yeah, we were
mm,
told from now on, you will need to work for
mm.
everything that you need. So the toil under the sun, I don't think it's meaningless.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether we live here to be 70, to be 80, to be 100, it is
Mm.
not meaningless. You try not to go to work, Mary, tomorrow.
Eh.
What will happen on Monday? Sorry. What will happen to you?
My children will come knocking at the door.
Yeah, that's one reason. What's the
Yeah.
other reason you said earlier on?
No money.
Yeah, and what are you doing on the 18th?
Oh, going on holiday.
There we go. So the laboring, yeah, toiling under the sun is not meaningless. There is a lot of meanings around it. It depends again on the amount of meaning that you want from it for you to
Mm,
call it meaningful. But even in the smallest of the meaning, I believe there is a meaning.
yeah.
Okay, let's go for number 4.
Generations come and go,
Yeah,
but it makes no difference. It does.
really? Does it not make any difference?
It does. We've just had a coronation today.
Fabulous.
Whether we like it or not, we're in a new reign.
That's correct. Now, Mary, how far can you go in your generation, in your family generation?
Um,
The
so I
ones
have
that you
my
can remember. Yeah.
I have my parents alive.
Mm-hmm.
Their own parents are not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that's about it.
Now, if your granny and your granny's grannies were not there,
Hmm.
would you be here, Mary?
No.
There we go. So, generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. But in our season that we are
Hmm.
given, I believe there is meaning. Yeah, I
Yes.
believe there is meaning. There is a reason why Mary was born in that family. Esther was born in her family. The king was
Hmm.
born in his family. The
Yeah.
generations come and go. The earth remains forever. Yes, that's as per God because He has
Hmm.
created it that way. Now, let's go to verse 5, and you tell me the most important thing there that you teach your children, particularly the children that you educate.
Yeah, but just before we go there, I mean, yeah, generations come and go, but we deposit. Like my parents have deposited us. I
Mm-hmm.
have deposited my children. When I
Correct?
go, they will, have deposited theirs. So
Yeah.
there's always that multiplication going on.
Yes. Yeah. Your genes are moving on in those generations. So, and
Mm.
God had a purpose why he created that generation like that. And even when you think of Abraham, when he was
Mm,
told, your generations will be more than the sand at the sea, more than
mm,
the stars in the sky. It's like in God's plan, there was a
yes.
meaning why he created the way he created the promises he gave to Abraham and the promises he's still giving us
In
today.
us.
Yes,
Yes.
in us. Yes, he's still giving us promises. Like you're saying, you've brought your children. Yeah, your children will bring children. And the generation, yes, you may say they came and went,
Mm,
but the seeds are still there.
yeah.
Seeds are still there. Yeah, so it's not meaningless. Okay.
No.
Number 5.
Number 5. So the sun rises
Mm-hmm.
and sets and hurries around to rise again. The
Okay.
wind,
Mm-hmm.
okay. The wind blows
Mm-hmm.
south and north, here and there, twisting back and forth, getting nowhere.
Do they get nowhere? Let's go to the sun. The sun rises
Mm,
and the sun sets.
mm,
In the process of the sun rising and the sun setting, yeah, what do
mm.
you teach those young ones? What does the sun help us to do, or how does it help in life?
First,
Mm-hmm.
it helps us to, for our plants to grow. We need the sun
Mm-hmm.
for the plants to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the sun rises, it means it's a new day, it's a new
Uh-huh.
beginning. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then when it's setting, it's for us to lie down, rest our mind, body, and
Mm-hmm.
soul. And
Mm-hmm.
then it carries on like that. So it's a new day, the day ends, and then we carry on like that. And then we need the sun to grow our food that nourishes our bodies.
Brilliant. Just even thinking of a little bit of biology that we know. Yeah, the
Mm,
photosynthesis, like you've said.
yeah.
And then the day, yeah, measuring the seasons and that. And by the way, the sun doesn't rise and set because
Mm,
it's always where it is positioned.
yeah.
It's our earth that is rotating and doing all that. Again, I'm saying we need to read the Bible ourselves to be able to
Mm,
understand and not just to give up because some guy said it's meaningless, and that's
mm,
it because that's the word they had. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's important to go and dig it critically and see
Mm.
some of the reasons behind it and just not just leave it there. Now, the wind, what do you think the wind helps us with?
The wind, it
Mhm.
carries, it takes away the dirty air.
Mhm.
And like in autumn, it helps with seasons as well, getting rid of all the, leaves that unwanted leaves. So it's
Yeah.
just there to help us with, pollution and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the rain, the
The
way the
rain,
rain,
yes.
yeah. So when the water is evaporating from the sea on
Mm,
the windward side, yeah, I think we used to be taught the windward side and the leeward side.
mm,
So as the waters evaporate from the seas, they form the clouds. It's the wind that blows, yeah,
yeah.
and it's the wind that blows depending on the pressure changes as well. So it
Yes.
helps the rain. And again, the rain combined with the sunshine, we have the food.
Yes.
Yeah, if it didn't happen that way, then we wouldn't have the food that we need for
Mhm,
us to be able to sustain this physical body for us. So there is meaning, Mary. That's what I
mhm.
was trying to look at. Meaningless, meaningless. No, 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 no. If you dig deeper, you will see the meaning and you will
Yeah.
quite understand. We will move on to verse number, complete number 6, and then move on again to 7. And let's see what that one is saying.
Okay, the rivers run into the sea, but
Mm-hmm,
the sea is never full, and
mm-hmm,
the water returns again to the rivers
mm-hmm.
and flows again to the sea. This is photosynthesis.
Yeah, and
This is,
conventional rain, isn't it?
yeah,
Yes, yes.
it's a
And
cycle.
it's a cycle. Yeah, it's a cycle. To me, that cycle is not meaningless. Like we have said, the rain goes, rains,
Mm,
comes and waters the ground. The plants grow. Again, they evaporate, they compose, and then
mm,
the cycle goes. That cycle is the cycle that keeps us alive. No wonder some religions believe in the cycle of life as well. They believe in reincarnation. So I don't
mm,
know how that works, but for the rain, I know it will evaporate on the other side, go into the sky, drop again, and the cycle continues. And that's the way God purifies the waters, and that's how God feeds us. So there
mm.
is meaning there. Okay. And you do
Yeah.
stop me when you think I'm going too much. You could also input her.
I will.
Number 8.
So everything is unutterable,
Mhm,
unutterably weary
mhm,
and tiresome.
mhm.
This person must have been depressed. Solomon. Oh, sorry.
He's the wisest guy. And you're saying he must have been depressed, Mary.
He
How
must have
can you
been
say that
depressed.
about the king? King
Goodness me.
Solomon, the wisest guy. Okay, go ahead.
No matter how much we see, we are
Mhm,
never satisfied.
mhm,
No matter how much we hear, we are
mhm.
not content. And in reality, that's how some people are, though.
You said it very well. So
Oh.
number 8, he said, all things my word says wearisome or wearisome. Yeah, tiring.
Mm,
More than one can say. The eye never has enough seeing, nor the ear of its feel of hearing.
mm.
This wearisomeness, like you said, unless somebody is really like, uh, really, yeah, tired of life, yeah,
Depressed.
yeah, and depressed, then there will be when they look into life, they'll be like, what's the point? What's the point of this?
Mm,
But remember at the beginning there, you said labor. We have to labor, yeah. But
mm.
at the same time, when we labor, we need to rest, because if we don't rest, then that's when these things can be really wearisome. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can imagine
yeah.
somebody digging their land 24/7.
Uh, yeah.
Can it work? I think they'll
No.
be dropping dead now. They will be now dead in that
Yeah.
in whatever situation they are. Now for the eye never has enough of seeing. What happens when we go to sleep?
We rest the eyes. We close them.
Yeah,
We close them.
yes. So the eye never has enough of see. I think if you try it again to prop them open like this,
Mm,
24/7, yeah, they will be worrisome. They will be tired, and they'll just say to
mm,
you, enough, Esther, now, enough. Just go and sleep. Yeah. Yeah,
or
I don't know about the years again. When you're fast asleep, Mary, do you hear stuff?
being a mom, I'm
Hmm.
quite alert
Hmm.
in the sense that if I hear a sound,
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
will wake up. But now that, like I said, it depends on the season. Now
Okay.
that my kids are older,
Hmm.
my alertiveness or
Yeah.
alertness is
Yeah.
a bit, I know that they're okay. If there's anything, they'll come off their beds and come and tell me.
Yeah.
So, but what I was going to ask, could it be the eyes that they talk about here? Could it be more spiritual than the eye seeing?
What do you think? Tell
I
me
think
about
it
the
could.
spiritual eye and tell me about the spiritual ears.
To me, I think it's just, saying a lot about unsatisfaction, no matter what you do, no matter what you see, like we've started from the verse 2,
Hmm.
you're not content.
Okay.
No matter how much work you go and do, no
Yeah.
matter how much good news you hear,
Yeah.
you're not content.
Hmm.
All you're doing is probably still looking for more, more. Or still, you still say, it's not worth living. It's not enough. It's not
Hmm.
enough. So I think it's probably, yeah, it could be to do with the physical still, but I think it's also spiritual.
Oh, I like the way you brought that word of contentment. Yeah, it falls very well here now.
Hmm.
So when you feel like you haven't seen enough, you want to see more,
Hmm.
right? When you feel like you've not had enough, you want to hear more. Yeah, when you feel like you've not worked enough, you want to work more. Now I can see where this guy may have been coming from, and well done for bringing that angle, right? So it's lacking that balance, and also
Hmm.
not being contented that now it's time to sleep. And that's now where it becomes meaningless. For example, in the physical, if you still just want to see, and you don't
Hmm.
want to rest, it can kill you and it becomes meaningless. What was the point of you just wanting to hear, and you're not stopping, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So maybe, yeah, it's to do with contentment. It wasn't, we never get enough. We don't
Hmm.
say now this is enough. I don't want to hear anymore, or I don't want to see anymore, because if I go past this, It's gonna
Hmm.
read me now. It's gonna become meaningless, I believe. That's where the meaninglessness now can come in. Okay, well done. I like that. Pass number 9. What is it saying?
It says, history merely repeats itself.
Mhm.
Nothing is truly new. Of course, things are new. It
Yeah.
has all been done or said before. What can you point to that is new? We have a
Today,
new king.
today,
We
even
have
today, yeah.
oh
Okay,
yeah.
the king, I may argue that I say, oh, Charles has always been with us. King Charles has always been with us. But for him to be king
Yeah.
is something new for us because he
Mm,
wasn't a king. So he's been crowned king today. So to me, that's new,
mm,
right? This very moment, the one we are now skipping to the next moment, it's new,
new.
right?
Yeah.
This very meeting, Mary, we've had with you, it's new because we've not
Yeah.
done it before.
In a lot in a long while.
Okay, it's even if we've done a meeting, that was that meeting, and
Okay.
but today it's a new meeting. I think
Yeah.
it's everything. Yeah, so to me, history, something similar may repeat itself, like the meeting we had before, but they're
Mm,
never exactly the same. A
the
moment ago,
same.
when we started, the video stopped working. Yeah. But in the previous ones, the video had not stopped working. So I don't know.
Mm,
They're similar, but they're not the same. It's new.
no. No.
So even
No.
when I
You're
did
right.
these 3 weeks ago in Swahili, I did say things are new. Yeah. And then what does Jesus do for us when
New
we,
masses every
yeah,
day.
yes,
We
there are
wake
new masses every day. And then when we believe we are a new creation, yeah,
creation.
we
Yeah.
start anew. The old is gone, the new is here. So there is newness. Yeah. And then your boys, for example, your children. Yeah. Your
Mm.
boy, David, is not your dad, is it? In as much as in my tribe, we name our boys after our fathers and our brothers.
Ah,
But they're not the
okay.
same. They're
Mm,
not. They're different. The generation is different.
yes.
Yeah, they could be carrying the genes, but they're different. They're new. They're new. A new
Mm,
creation here. Anyway, number 10.
okay.
Mhm.
Where are you? Number 10.
I think you had
How,
read it, but yeah.
okay. How do you know it didn't exist long ages ago? We don't remember what happened in those former times, and in the future generations, no one will remember what we have done back here.
What do you think about that? Are you sure about that phrase and statement?
There are some things that we don't remember, of
Hmm.
course,
Hmm.
but memory, it depends. Okay, for me, I choose what I want to remember sometimes.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
Especially if it's a bad experience, sometimes I just, ugh, it's not that you don't remember, but you just, put it somewhere.
Yeah.
But nowadays as well, we have a memory box, we have pictures to remind us. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's different now. Like we said, it depends on what season
Yeah.
Solomon was in. Because I remember a lot of things.
Yeah. And like now, today, because of the coronation, I went to listen about a queen that was named Charlotte.
Mm,
Yes, something came up as an advert for Netflix. And the Charlotte that is acting on this Netflix, I don't know the whole story. So
mm,
anybody quoting me, I don't know the whole story. But I think there's some black girls acting on it.
yes.
And somebody wanted to clarify and say Queen Charlotte may had had a flattish nose, but she wasn't black. Yeah, she
Oh,
was white.
oh,
Yeah, because the way the story is told is like the king wanted a woman who will respect him and who will be like, he didn't care so much about whether sharp nose or pointed nose or whatever, flat nose. Yeah, so one of the things people picked on Charlotte or Queen Charlotte, it was like her nose was a bit flat, but they said she wasn't black. And because it's acted by black people now, it might be controversial. Yeah.
yes.
Just like Cleopatra the other day, again, Cleopatra, they depicted her as black. People are saying, no, 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 no. she was white. So these things do turn up anyway.
Mm,
Okay. With the generations we remember, and that's why I'm
mm,
going to Charlotte. Yeah. So there's some generations we will remember, there's some generation we will not remember.
yeah,
Abraham died long time ago, but we remember that. Adam and
yeah.
Eve died long time ago, but we remember that. Okay,
Mm.
we are told about it through the
Uh,
Bible. Yes, and we remember that. And then the other generations that followed, according to the history, the people who stood out, we are told about Jesus. Otherwise, if we were to forget what Jesus did, then the end of Christianity is gone and dead and
mm,
just forgotten. So we may be forgotten, right?
mm, mm,
But if God has chosen people for different seasons of life, depending on how they've written their history, they will be remembered. For how long, I don't know. But I know even on the other side, yeah, they will be remembered. Yeah, there's a story told of Lazarus, the poor Lazarus, and the rich king. Do you know the
mm.
story?
Oh,
Yeah,
Lazarus, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
when he told him, no,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. You know the Lazarus who used to sit at the table, no, at
Mm.
the floor next to the rich man's table, and he used to eat the crumbs from the table.
Yes.
Yeah, and then when they died, yeah, Jesus tells this parable that Lazarus went to heaven, the rich man went to hell, and the rich man was seeing Abraham on the other side and say, please, can you send someone, please, and tell my brothers to change, because there is hell, there is heaven,
Mm.
there is hell, and I don't want them to end up here. So send them so that they can be kind to the poor people and all that. So there is that story even after death. Yeah. And Jesus himself, after death, we are told he sits at the right hand of God. So we are remembered. They are remembered. Memories are there. They do remember. Yeah.
Mm.
I think, how many more verses do we have for this chapter? It's a long chapter.
It is. We can do another one later.
We can do another one later, another kind of continuing from chapter. We can stop at that verse number 11.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's where, yeah, we stopped. And then next time we can look at the wisdom in itself. Is it
Yeah.
meaningless or is it meaningful? How did you find that episode? I brought you to a Bible study without preparing
It's
you.
good.
Yeah,
Well, every time is a time of learning. We don't know everything, so it's
yeah,
good that we learn all the time. Yeah.
yeah. So, like I said to you, one of the reasons why I do this is because I think as Christians, we don't go back and read.
Mm-mm.
One verse can be read for us and we stop there. Yeah.
Mm.
And the person who had, whether they're an atheist and they had life is meaningless, they stop at that. And people start dying slowly inside.
Yeah.
Life is meaningless to them. It's meaningless. So if it's meaningless, but then if you ask that person a question, why do you go to work? Yeah. If it is
Mm.
meaningless, yeah. If there is nothing after this life, then why are you so scared?
Honestly.
Yeah, then you should end it now, here, this very moment. Stop. Yeah, let it just be gone and all that. If it is meaningless, there is a lot of meaning. A
It
lot.
is.
Yeah, in
Uh,
our spiritual, in our physical,
mm,
in our intellect, everything we do, there is a
mm.
meaning and there is a purpose. So, what are your closing words?
I just think, yeah, people need to, or we need to focus on finding, we already have a meaning. So we need to seek to know the meaning of why
Mm-hmm,
we exist, the
mm-hmm,
why. You remember we're talking about why is the other day.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, it is important to ask ourselves, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? I think it will
mm-hmm,
help us in everything that we do so that
mm-hmm.
we're not living someone else's life,
Yeah.
thinking we're living our life.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, let's live a life of purpose because in that you'll be able to find joy in
mm-hmm.
actually living and you won't
Yeah.
be as depressed as King Solomon when you wrote this.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to, find why we do what we do, why we're leaving, and why we wake up every day.
Yeah, I was listening to somebody who was giving it so wisely. She was saying, knowledge. Yeah. So when you have knowledge, what do you do with that knowledge? So you have wisdom, it's the application of that knowledge.
I think.
And then when you go past now, in between knowledge, there is understanding, right?
Mm,
And I
mm,
think it's also in the book of Proverbs that say, something to do with with wisdom. Get wisdom, and in all the getting, get understanding.
Understanding, yes.
Yes. So you can have the knowledge,
Mm.
you can have the wisdom, but if you don't get into the
Understand.
understanding, now the
Yeah.
why, then it becomes really difficult to
Mm.
operate in life. And that's where we give up, because
Yes.
Mary told me this. Yes,
Mm.
I know it. Yes. Okay, for example, Mary tells me healthy eating. This is good for your health, Esther.
Mm.
Thank you, Mary. I understand. Again, Mary tells me another day, this is good for your health, Esther. What do I do with the knowledge? In my
Mm.
head, I know it's wise, whatever Mary is telling me. Yes, it's
Mm.
wisdom, it's knowledge, but the actual understanding and then application of it now
Mm.
becomes wisdom and understanding applied fulfills the why. And
Yes.
I'm able to see now the result, the fruit of that knowledge that I knew. Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you.
For your information, I'll be broadcasting these on KDM, but on the radio side. But I will save a video clip on YouTube. If you want the video clip of this, you can also have it and save it on your channel if you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I don't know
please.
how long it's gonna take to process it, but hopefully before the end of today, it will be
Take your
somewhere
time.
either on YouTube, and then it will be broadcast on the radio on Kenya Diaspora Media. Thank you
Take your
so much
time.
for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. I'm going to end
Okay.
and enjoy your evening. Good evening. See you next time
Uh,
when we start at verse number 12 of the same chapter, number one of
okay.
our justice. Bye bye for now.
Bye-bye. Openly
Bye bye, Mary.